So there's a group of artists I like to call the woo woo artists. These are were authors. I mean, these are people who write books, and it's about like the power of your mind, the spirituality of it, and stuff like that. And it's one guy who's the godfather of it all, Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill has a book called Outwitting the Devil, and he has some other books like I think Lead the Field and stuff like that. Things about leadership and selling and being successful in business and life in general. But in Outwitting the Devil, he talks about the devil controlling you through the food you eat. Now, recently, I made a another video about you know drug addicts and stuff like that, people who are addicted to things, and how they can be motivated, more motivated than anybody else I've ever seen. I see them riding bikes up and down the street when they're not doing drugs, of course. I've seen them hauling scrap metal. I see them coming into the pawn shop and trying to sell me all kinds of things. So I see all of this stuff, and it makes me wonder how they can do it and what they're willing to give up for it and all these different things. And I think your mood controls a lot of that. So Napoleon Hill in the book Outwitting the Devil, he talks about how the devil can control you through your stomach. He specifically talks about this, and I think he has a whole like chapter or two on it. And he goes back and recalls that one chapter in chapters later on in the book. So I think it's like he saw real importance in it, and I'm realizing it too because I'm doing a little bit of a fast. So I'm noticing my mood is more balanced. I'm noticing, yeah, my mood is more balanced, and I think like you can do more things if your mood is balanced, and that controls your emotions. It controls a lot of things. It makes you feel less lethargic, all that different stuff. Of course, I'm getting like some little muscle cramps, but I can do a workout and I still, feel pretty good. So, yeah, I think that's real important to watch what you eat. I think I see people on TikTok right now talking about how, you can eat a Hershey Kiss and it'll spike your blood pressure real high. But, 30 minutes later, it's crashing. And that causes people to crash out. So, all of that stuff has to do with your emotions, how you feel, and what you're willing to do, what you're in the mood for. And there's nothing better than having a balanced mood throughout the day. And also during a fast, you notice you just don't need food like that. It's very much a habit for me. I don't do anything else. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't do anything. I've taken like mushrooms recreationally to like get the experience, but yeah, I don't partake in any drugs. I wouldn't put any, especially like knowing like having the experience of mushrooms and knowing what it can do to your mind. And I've seen people like take bad stuff. You remember when people were smoking the synthetic marijuana, and they called it K2. I've seen people like go crazy on it, lose their minds, and I see people with mental health issues today, and what they all have in common is drug use. So yeah, I definitely wouldn't intake anything like a hard drug into my body or into my system, that especially not something that would affect my mind. It's bad enough that I have like this food addiction and stuff like that, especially with sugar. Have a bad relationship with sugar, and that can cause my mood to go really bad. It can cause me to be lethargic, lazy, and not doing what I need to be doing in life. But yeah, I think that's a great book to read for everybody. Napoleon Hill, Outwitting the Devil. It's got a lot of good points in it, but I think that was a good point, and it's like an underrated point that he really wanted to go in on. And I think you can get the audio book on Audible, of course. It might be still on YouTube if you go look for the audiobook and then you can just listen to it. But he really like went into detail on that and he was like dead serious about it of everything else he talked about. And he had some hard facts, like great points in the book. But of everything he talked about controlling what you intake. And I, doing the fast and like seeing the power of, you know, not spiking your blood sugar. Yeah, I can totally agree with that. And also, the past experience is dealing with drug addicts in my field of work and all this different stuff. Yeah, it's something definitely to watch out for, things you intake into your body.